Morning, Wayne. And morning, Keyshawn Johnson.
What's happening?
How are you doing?
Good, man.
Good morning, Rachel Nichols. How are you? I know it's a little chilly in here, but we're about to heat it up.
I was going to say, I feel good about what's coming.
Okay, good. And let me say good morning to Jayson Tatum, who yesterday in Las Vegas during his Team USA media session said he felt like a weight had been lifted off his shoulders. Jayson Tatum said 100% just being at the topic of discussion of so many debates or whatever it is, can he lead a team? Is he a top 5 player? There's still a lot of things I guess they can debate, but now I've done something that they can't debate. I've won a championship. Having that under my belt, like obviously it's still conversation to be had or whatever people want to say, but they always got to refer to me as an NBA champion. Keyshawn, you kept saying this same thing throughout the finals, that you were rooting for Jayson Tatum for this very reason that he just expressed, to end any debate about his values. So I'm assuming you loved what he said yesterday.
Oh, absolutely, Skip.
Yeah.
I mean, like, as soon as he said it, I'm like, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Because if it was, all athletes want to win a championship, because that erases a lot of doubt in people's mind about what type of player you are. And I'm talking about winning a championship, not just on the team, taking the photo with the team and the trophy, but actually being a very important part of why you won the championship. Now, mind you, he's done it in such short time, in short order. When you think about some of the other champions that we've come to watch over the years, whether it's Steph Curry or Giannis or Michael Jordan or LeBron or Kevin Durant or any of them, when you look at the body of work and the time that they won their championship, he's either done more or about the same as all of those guys. It literally, when you start talking about the statistical side of things, the accomplishments, the all-star games, the all-NBAs, he literally checked all those boxes. The only box that he didn't check, he just checked last month, which is winning a world championship. So if I was him, not that he would do that, but if I had his money, I'd go give him one of them big old yachts somewhere and put on the back of it, how you have to name your yacht? Now what? To speak to people like you, Skip, that question what type of closer or player I was. That's the way he has to think about these things. Because like he said, it's not going to go away. We still going to have a conversation about it, because the next conversation will be, we only got one.
Right.
He only got one, Rachel.
Yes.
He only got one. But the man's been to 5 or 6 conference finals, 2 NBA finals in the last 7 years or something like that, if my math serves me correct. How can you complain about his ability to do the things that he's done as a leader? Well, you would simply say to me, Skip, well, it's really Jaylen Brown. Yes, it's his Robin. He's the Batman. His Robin helps him when he needs to.
Really?
That's the way. Yeah, he's the Batman. The team anointed him as Batman 3 years ago, prior to the Kevin Durant trade, when they looked to move on from Jaylen Brown, and then they decided, we're going to keep Jaylen. But they said, Jayson Tatum, this is your team, because they wanted to try to get Kevin Durant because they didn't think Jaylen Brown was good enough. So now, Skip, he's wiped the floor. He's done everything. Everything is clean. Now he has an opportunity to repeat. That's really, I love it. I mean, look at the numbers. Okay, so the last 5 seasons, in points, he's first. 362 more than any player the last 5 seasons. And in wins, he's first. 11 more than any other player. So he's done his job. I don't even know why people would even still be talking about whether or not he belongs.
Belongs where?
Wherever.
Yeah.
Wherever. Pick it. We can't put him in an all-time great because he's not done yet. He's probably got another 12 years of basketball left in his body. But when you start looking at saying, will he go down as one of the greatest to ever play? What, you gonna say no? You can't say no to that. No. So what else, if he goes down as one of the greatest to ever play, Skip, what else is there, what other box?
Okay. I'll speak in a minute, but go ahead, Rachel.
I don't know exactly what the boat would say, Keyshawn, but he did come out at the Celtics championship party the night that they won, and the first thing he said to the crowd is, what are they going to say now?
Okay, that's what I would put on the back of it. What are they going to say now?
So he's there. Look, the 2 things that he identified as his criteria, right, are top 5 player And I don't think there's any question that he's considered that right now. Only in that, you know, he was top 5 on my ballot, All NBA first team, and clearly with the rest of the NBA media felt the same since he was top 5 first All NBA. He's been consistent, as you say, about what he has accomplished. And then, you know, the second thing is a guy who has led his team to a championship. I would not say that Jaylen Brown is Robin by any stretch.
Well, I only call him Robin because they basically anointed JT as Batman when they were going to try to trade Jaylen.
Also, the idea that someone has to be the only guy to win a championship, it just doesn't hold up through history. Look at the last Celtics team that won it. Paul Pierce would be sitting here and saying that he and KG were equals. They were both Batmen on that team, right? And we can talk about, you know, Shaq and Kobe. We can talk about all kinds of teams that had 2 guys. The truth is, even though Jaylen Brown won MVP, that it was Jayson Tatum who led the team throughout the playoffs in points, rebounds, and assists. And if you want to have an idea of how rare that is, when I first saw that stat, I thought, oh, all the good players on the team must be the ones who lead their teams in playoff runs for that much. He's only the 6th guy to ever do that. And the other names are Jokic, LeBron, Duncan, Olajuwon, and Larry Bird. So he is in very rare company in terms of what we all say we wanted to think about was, can you lead a team through the playoffs? Can you win a championship? And he's done all of those things. I mean, you said his 7-year career, 6 All-Star appearances, 3 All-NBA first team. He's dropped 51 and 46 in playoff games, an NBA title, 5 conference finals appearances. And, you know, when you look at NBA history already, he is only 26 and he probably has 12 more years of basketball. But already, the only people in NBA history who have scored as much as him at this age, LeBron, KD, Carmelo, Tracy McGrady, and Kobe.
Pretty good names.
So he is on track with those guys. Doesn't mean he's going to become one of those guys. He's got a long way to go, but that is what he is on track for.
Okay. You make great points. You make great points. I got no issue with anything you just said because Jayson Tatum is really, really good. There's no doubt about that. And he is undoubtedly a champion forever and ever, never to be taken away from him. Can't take that part away. All I ever said was, I've sat in the same seat and first guessed this for 3 years, not 2 years or 1 year. For 3 years, I sat right here and I said, I'm sorry, he's not the best player on his own team. He's just not. I know every night that I'm rooting against Boston, and you hate Boston like I hate Boston. And I root against him, I pick against him, and I'm watching, and the guy who terrorizes me, who makes me sweat watching the game, is always the other guy. Take nothing away from Jayson Tatum because he's really, really good. And he's also really, really tall because I think, like Paul Pierce says, he's like a full 6'10" and long. Yeah. And it's hard to deal with that on a nightly basis. It's so long and so skilled. And he's such a good kid, and he's still a kid to me at 26, but he plays hard. He's got all the right intangibles. But the closer on that team, the guy who strikes fear in my heart, is the other guy. And I've always felt sorry for the other guy because he had to play in a shadow that was inflicted upon him by the team because they coronated Jayson before he really did too much, just because he was Jayson Tatum from Duke, and he was high pick, and we get that. And we all thought coming out of it like he's going to be really, really good. The point is, I was rooting harder for Jaylen Brown through these playoffs because he did some things that astonished me and made me very happy for him. Because who was the MVP of the Eastern Conference Finals? It wasn't Jayson Tatum, it was Jaylen Brown. Who was the MVP of the NBA Finals? It was Jaylen Brown. I was like, whoa, it's beautiful to watch because he deserved that, and I thought he earned that because the biggest shots made in the playoffs and then in the finals were made by Jaylen Brown. And I don't think he's Robin. I'm not saying he's Batman. Maybe you could say they're co-Batman.
Whatever you want to call it. You want to call it co-Batman, call it co-Batman.
Co-Batman.
I've never seen a show with 2 Batmans, though.
Okay, I haven't either.
I've seen a lot of NBA finals with 2 Batmans on one team, though.
Okay,
so.
You have. And it's hard for me to say Jayson Tatum's a Robin because he's not a Robin. But the other guy is really good in different ways because the other guy is explosively athletic in ways I don't think Jayson Tatum is. In the end, I'm talking about explosive athleticism with fire in belly, where I look at Jaylen Brown's face and I say, he scares me because he is a cold-blooded killer. And I don't know that Jayson has quite that stuff operating in him, that kind of fire burning deep down inside him. Nothing again. It's just how you're born. You either have it, you're either Keyshawn or you're not Keyshawn. And I think you see more of yourself in Jaylen Brown than you see in Jayson Tatum.
Jaylen Brown
edgy is a good word for it.
It's not that Jayson Tatum is considered when I look at Jayson Tatum, he might score 30 and I might not know he hit 30 because it's smooth and clean.
Yeah, I agree.
And it just flows with everything. You look up and it's like, oh, he had 30? Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Where Jaylen might get 30, but at least when I'm looking at 12 of them 30 going to be exciting. All of a sudden, it's 2 dunks off somebody's head and a steal and a fast break and then a pull-up J. So it looks different. That's all it is. It's just an edgier look to him. That's all it is.
Okay.
I mean, what do we say when a guy is just sort of unconsciously hitting shots the way Jayson Tatum does sometimes? We say, oh, man, he's just so cold.
He can go there. He can go into that place, that zone. He can.
Absolutely. And we say about that kind of guy, we go, oh, he's so cold, you know, like that sort of thing. You know, there's a difference. There's that fieriness from Jaylen Brown, scrappiness in the way that he plays. But obviously...
Jayson Tatum isn't the type of player, not that he wouldn't, but he's not going to, like, dive on the ground and dive in a pile to get the ball. He'll just reach in and get it, and he'll be like, oh, okay. Where Jaylen might go head first into it. And it's just a style that he has, that's all.
When Jaylen gets loose and dunks one, you're like, God. Like, it's angry, man. It is like, whew.
But it doesn't have to be who's better. They can both be better, right?
Okay.
And
well, Skip likes Jaylen more.
Okay, I just do.
But people
I was dug in on that early, and so, again, is it a debate? I don't know. Is it a reflection on... I thought, seriously, I thought Jayson, and when I watched his interview, I thought he got a little defensive and didn't need to, for all the reasons you both just made. Like, no, he's a made man. He's done that. He's first team All-NBA.
People get tired of... Not... the Skip Bayless of the world, but people get tired.
There's only one, right?
But people just get tired as athletes. You get tired of hearing people talk negative about your game, who you are, what you've done. When you look at it, you got all these accolades, but you hadn't won a championship.
No.
And you praise all these other dudes that didn't win championships and it took them a whole career to get those accolades. When his dude here has gone from 0 to 60 in a heartbeat. 0 to 60, think about how fast that is, like that. You know, it's like that car you drive, just zoom. You know? And now, all of a sudden, his job is not to be complacent. Now his job is to advance it a couple more steps, to get a couple more championships, so it won't be can he win again conversation.
I think it eats at him that he's not sure if he's the best player on his own team. And that's a hard thing to sort of live with.
I don't think he thinks that.
Your first team All-NBA.
I don't think
so. At this point, no.
No, there's no way. There's no possible way, Rachel, he's sitting there saying, I'm not the best player on my team.
No, that there is attention given to Jaylen as the potential best player on the team and that he was back-to-back
Because
MVPs
what happens is you squash one man to lift another one. That's what we get in his mind and irritating that every time he turns on the television or looks on his social media, somebody is squashing him and raising somebody else up when he has equal billing.
Yeah, okay. So who made the biggest shots of the playoffs for the Boston Celtics? Jaylen Brown made that corner 3 against Indiana, and it wasn't just a game saver. It felt like it was a playoff saver to me because it was a shocker.
And then, Rachel, the other guy went in overtime and dropped 12, I think it was.
He did.
Yeah. So
I just think that's that. Look, he led the team in points, assists, and rebounds, Jayson Tatum. So, yes, I agree that Jaylen had more flashy shots, especially in the late rounds. But those shots don't mean anything if you're down by 20.
Okay. Game 3 of the finals. It was the turning point game, the first game at Dallas. Luka fouled out, but all of a sudden it looked like Kyrie might be able to get this game home because they were in not in command of it, but they had all the momentum at that point, even though they had lost their quote-unquote best player. And all of a sudden, it's a one-point game, and out of nowhere appears Jaylen Brown for a putback where I'm saying, where did that come from?
When Kyrie didn't box him out.
Didn't box him out. Here's a shot. This made it a three-point game with 3 minutes left. Jaylen Brown's just right there. Okay, so no big deal, but that's like, oh, there he was again. Yeah. And then the shot of shots in the NBA Finals, for what it was worth, as non-competitive as you like to think that it was, but the shot was the killer. The cold-blooded dagger came from this play right here when he went straight up from about, whatever that was, 18 feet and ripped it to make it back to a 4-point game with a minute left, because it felt like, here comes Dallas again, and he said, nope, I got this. So I look at his body of work, and did he deserve to be the MVP? Yes, he deserved to be the MVP. And then I look at, if we're going to pick some nits here, if I look at Jayson Tatum's three-point shooting through, let's just look at the whole playoffs. He shot 28% from three, which is not very good because he was 39 of 138. So he missed 99 threes in the playoffs and made 39. It's not very good. Just in the NBA Finals alone, he shot only 26%. He was 10 of 38. So he made 10 and he missed 28 threes. Well, that's not great. And he's not been a great three-point shooter when it mattered.
But see, for me, that's all that really matters is when did he take the shots? Yeah. When did he take the shots and when did they fall? If I'm shooting in the first two quarters a high clip and I'm not making them, but I'm coming down in the late fourth quarter and I'm knocking them down, that's all that matters.
Also, you have to remember the Celtics play style now under Joe Mazzulla where they take a million three-point shots. They've led the league by a lot, right? In both regular season and the playoffs. And so if you're taking more, that group of that you're taking more, that top layer above the other teams, some of those aren't the best shots because the other teams are ignoring the three and they're going inside because that feels like a better shot in a percentage of those situations. And the Celtics mantra is take the outside shot anyway. So I think the comparison, you just have to think about style of play with them. But look, again, I would put Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum on the same level. I think there was a time very early in their careers where Jayson has even acknowledged that bothered him and who was better and all of that. But, man, you get through all of these conference finals without making the finals and hear all the noise around you and finally make the finals and then lose in the fashion they did. You don't care about any of that stuff anymore. You just want to win a championship.
You don't as a player, but the media do care. And they're going to choose a side. That's just the reality of it. It's only, as much as we want it to be two Batmans, it's only going to be one. As you say, look at the history of the NBA. They're never going to, as much as we think about the championships, it's always going to be Magic, even though he had Kareem and Worthy. It's always going to be Larry Bird, even though he had those guys. And so it's always going to be either a Shaq getting it all or Kobe getting it all from Powell. But that's just how it's going to be.
But when Shaq and Kobe were playing for the same Lakers team, were you like, oh, man, one's clearly better than the other, one's a Robin?
It was all about Shaq. That's what it was all about.
The hype was all about Shaq.
It was literally all about the Diesel.
I know a lot of people who were all about Kobe.
That's true. But from a media standpoint, it was about Shaq because Kobe hadn't won the MVP yet. It was just all about the Diesel. It just was.
So, but then under that circumstance, you would call Kobe Robin, which certainly he was not a Robin.
You don't necessarily call him a Robin, but that Batman and Robin has been used throughout sports with a team of players for years.
Yes.
He's the Batman, he's the Robin. You know, you go back and forward, basically. And I think people nowadays might look at Robin as less of a player than a Batman, and that's not true. That's not because they go hand in hand. They go hand in hand.
I mean,
they do.
Batman's the guy. I think a team can have two Batmen. I think that, in fact, a lot of championship teams have two elite-level players at the top. This is not rare. And that when you look at his age cohort, if you look at the guys 26 and younger, I think Luka is the only guy that you can sit there and say he is probably objectively, just talent-wise and sort of all-around game-wise, either right there with Tatum if you're a Celtics fan or maybe higher if you're not.
See, I'm going to have to stop you there because that Tatum plays defense.
Okay, so there you go.
So when you start telling me all-around talent, Rachel, I got to exclude my man Luka from that equation.
We're gonna be arguing about Luka's defense until I'm 80.
Hey, man, all I know is they got a rip reel of him playing defense.
Yes. And look, Jayson is certainly a much more consistent defender and has been for a longer amount of time. But if you look at the guys younger than that, you're talking about Anthony Edwards, you're talking about, John Morant, you're talking about guys who have huge talent but have not won titles.
But they also behind
Jason's
him.
done that.
But he's also he's been in the league a couple years longer than them, so they kind of behind them. Now, if you ask me to project where Ant-Man and Ja may be 2 or 3 years from now, I could say they might be, depending on what happens in Memphis, I don't know, but they might very well be on the road to winning the championship.
They might be, but the question and the discussion is about, hey, is this guy an elite player? And not to get back to Joe Flacco or anything, but the idea is he in the league?
Flacco.
Is he elite? Is he in the league he plays in right now an elite player? And if you look at what he has accolished in his age, that's what I'm talking about.
What position would you, because it's positionless basketball right now, but what position would he be right now? Tatum. What is he, a forward, a guard? What is he?
He's a wing player. That's
so
sort
wing.
of the way we talk about it.
What other wing would you take before you take Tatum?
Well, who did the bulk of the defensive work on Luka? Just for the record, who did that?
Well, I think it was Jaylen.
He was spectacular. It got so much that, remember the closeout game, as they were starting to take players out, Jaylen's over on the side, and I think he was mic'd up because we could hear him, and he said, if Luka stays in the game, I'm staying in the game. That's how much he wanted to make sure he didn't score anymore, right?
Yeah.
So that wasn't Jayson, that was Jaylen.
Yeah, but Jaylen's, he approaches it different.
Yeah.
It wasn't like all of a sudden Jayson decided, I'm going to go, since we're going to play defense, let me move on over here. It wasn't like that. No. He just say, hey, that's my assignment. I want him. It's like in football. Oh, can I take Rachel or can I take Skip? Who's going to cut? I got Skip, man. Don't even worry about it. I'd rather take because I'm going to shut him down. Yeah. That's the mentality. That's all. It's just a mentality.
Okay. And the final point was...
So you're saying you're scared of me.
He is scared of you. No, I see it every day. I can feel it. I can just feel it come across the table.
Yeah.
You strike fear in his eyes.
The hearts
I can
of men.
see it.
Yes.
Okay. Final point was, I don't care what you say, it was a 19-point blowout in the closeout game, the game 5 at Boston. And in the fourth quarter, Jayson Tatum was trying to win the MVP. He took 7 shots, and 5 of them were horrible shots where he just forced it up. And I can't blame him because the game was decided, the finals were decided, and he's just like, I'm going to, no, it wasn't decided. I'm going to try to leave a final taste in the voters' mouth.
Stop, man.
But he took some shots where I'm saying, what are you doing?
He was just trying to put about their misery, that's all.
No, he was trying to win the MVP.
He wasn't going to win it, though.
He needed that.
Even if he'd have scored those, I don't know how many shots he made, let's say it would have been 20 points. Even if he'd have hit them shots.
He scored 11 in the fourth.
Yeah, so let's give him another 10. It would have been 21 points.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have won the MVP. It was already decided it was going to Jaylen Brown. The game was out of reach when it came out.
Yeah.
You just want to make it seem like because he was pulling the trigger a lot. He was, though. No, he was. No, he was. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say, oh, God, because when I was looking at it, first thing I was saying was, okay, he out here hot dogging trying to get his money.
Yeah.
But I don't think he was chasing the MVP.
In the end, I'm happy for Jayson Tatum because you know what he got to do over the last 3 days? He got to walk into that gym with all those other guys who are most of them made men and look around and they had to say, hey, congrats, man.
Yeah.
Right? And that was a big deal to him because you arrive when you get to do that.
Who is on that Olympic team that didn't win a championship?
There's definitely guys on that team who haven't won a championship. But
well, Tyrese Halliburton hasn't. You know, like he's on there. Yeah, but again, most of them. Yeah, look. Boy, there's a lot of made men on there.
The majority of that team are Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
So yes, him being able to walk in there and be amongst them. Whew. Jayson Tatum has always been penalized for the fact that he was so good so young. Yeah. And it still took him until the ripe old age of 26 to win a title. And so that sort of promoted a little bit of this failure idea.
Outside of Magic Johnson, who came in as a rookie and led their team to win the championship.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Do you want more highlights from the show? Make sure to click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from Undisputed.